Paris turns into chaos. Taehyung walks out of a luxury building, but why did Jungkook suddenly unfollow a Celine fan account? What really happened between the glamorous steps of Kim Taehyung in Paris and the silent swipe of Jungkook's finger on his screen? In a world where nothing escapes the eyes of ARMY, how could such a subtle social media move from Jungkook turn into one of the most talked about mysteries of the year? Why did he do it right after Taehyung was seen radiating elegance outside a luxury building in Paris, possibly en route to a prestigious Celine event? Was this pure coincidence, or a calculated act fueled by something much deeper, much more personal? It began like any other media frenzy surrounding Taehyung's public reemergence. He had just completed his military service, and fans across the globe held their breath, waiting for his return. And return he did, gloriously. Paris was ablaze with lights and whispers as the global ambassador for Celine, known to millions as V of BTS, stepped into the city of fashion with unshakable confidence. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and news outlets scrambled to decode the meaning behind every accessory, every glance, every word unspoken. But as all eyes were fixed on Taehyung's presence in the French capital, something else was unfolding in silence, far away in Seoul. Or maybe not so far if one considers the emotional distance fans are now speculating exists between the two youngest BTS members. Just hours after Taehyung was spotted leaving a majestic building, surrounded by a frenzy of paparazzi and fans, Jungkook made a digital move that sparked chaos. He unfollowed a well-known Celine fan account. Coincidence? ARMYs don't think so. The timeline is eerily precise. Taehyung, dressed to perfection, walks confidently out of a location later identified as one of Celine's private venues. He doesn't stop for long, but his brief interaction with a few fans and a knowing glance at the cameras is enough to send hearts racing. Videos go viral within minutes. The caption: V is back. Paris is his runway. Meanwhile, an eagle-eyed fan notices something strange. Jungkook, usually silent, sometimes cryptic, but rarely impulsive online, had suddenly unfollowed at Celine Paris Updates, a fan-run account known for tracking Taehyung's activities with a brand. It didn't take long before Twitter, or X, as some now call it, exploded. Screenshots flooded timelines. Did Jungkook just unfollow a Taehyung-related account? Why now? Was this a statement? Did something happen we don't know about? Theories spiraled like wildfire. Some say it was just Jungkook being Jungkook, introverted, unpredictable, maybe even purging his feed as part of a mental reset. But why that specific account, and why now? Why exactly at the time when Taehyung was dominating headlines again with his elegant return to public life, endorsed by one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world? Others believe it was a silent protest. There's a growing faction of fans who insist that the once iconic bond between Jungkook and Taehyung, affectionately dubbed Taekook by millions, has grown cold in recent years. They point to the lack of public interactions, the separate schedules, the absence of casual behind-the-scenes content. It used to be them against the world, one fan tweeted. Now it's like they're in two different universes. But not everyone is buying the feud theory. Some argue this is nothing more than a media-fueled fantasy, built on shadows and speculations. After all, how much can a single unfollow really mean in the chaotic landscape of social media? Could it be the algorithm? An accident? A staff error? Yet, it's the silence that's most deafening. Neither Jungkook nor Taehyung have commented on the issue, but perhaps that's exactly what makes the story so dangerously seductive. In the absence of truth, speculation becomes fuel. The internet is now combing through their past interactions, dissecting every facial expression from old variety shows, every eye contact in concert footage, every lyric that might now be reinterpreted in a darker light. And then there's the timing. Taehyung's rise in the fashion industry has been meteoric. His collaborations with Celine aren't just brand deals, they're statements. Statements of influence, status, individual evolution. For a group that has always operated as a unit, as one body with 7 hearts, this solo success, especially one that is so public and so visual, can easily be misread or correctly read, depending on whom you ask. Was Jungkook threatened? Hurt? Left out? Or was he simply drawing a line? fans began digging into old interviews. In one clip from 2019, Jungkook playfully mentions how he gets weirdly sensitive when someone he's close to starts spending more time with others.
It was cute then.
Is it still just cute now? More damningly, the Celine fan account he unfollowed was known for frequently spotlighting only Taehyung's fashion evolution. Some fans even accused it of occasionally throwing shade at other members, albeit indirectly. Could it be that Jungkook, always quiet but never unaware, finally had enough? And what about HYB? In times like these, silence from the agency often speaks louder than any statement. There's been no clarification, no PR spin. Instead, the spotlight remains fixed on Taehyung's Parisian agenda. A private dinner, a rumored meeting with Celine's artistic director, paparazzi photos emerging of him smiling in the backseat of a sleek black car, champagne in hand. Meanwhile, Jungkook? A single blurry photo from outside BigHit studio in Seoul. Dressed in black, hood up, head down, point two cities. Two lives. Two stories diverging before the world's very eyes. It's not the first time a BTS member's social media move triggered chaos, but this one feels different. It's not just about a follow or an unfollow. It's about timing, context, emotional undercurrents that fans have been sensing for months, perhaps years. And in true BTS fashion, it's all wrapped in layers of ambiguity, art, and silence. The world wants answers. But perhaps the only two people who hold the truth are the very two who won't say a word. Is this the beginning of a new era for Taehyung? An era that doesn't include Jungkook by his side? Or is this just another wave of noise in the never-ending ocean of fame, fandom, and filtered truths? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. Paris turned into a battlefield of emotions that day, not because of what Taehyung did, but because of what Jungkook didn't say. And until either of them breaks the silence, the world will keep guessing, watching, refreshing timelines, reading between the lines of every photo, searching for the moment where the past and present collide, and the truth, whatever it may be, finally steps into the light. Shall we keep digging? The internet only saw a moment, a second of disconnection. A man walking out of a luxurious Parisian building. Another man, half a world away, silently clicking unfollow. But to the fans who have lived through the journey of BTS, who've traced every laugh, every glance, every lyric and gaze, this moment wasn't random. It was history catching up with the present. Because before Paris, before Celine, before luxury fashion and encrypted social media gestures, there was a different world, a simpler one. One where Jungkook and Taehyung were just two boys growing into men under the same spotlight. Where friendship was documented not in PR-curated Instagram posts, but in chaotic V-Lives, late-night karaoke sessions, and unscripted laughter. They used to be inseparable, or so it seemed. From their early dorm days to shared hotel rooms on tour, Taekook wasn't a ship born from fantasy. It was built from thousands of shared moments. The way Jungkook used to instinctively lean toward V during interviews, the way V used to joke about wanting to steal Jungkook's routines, or how they'd giggle together on camera until someone else interrupted. But somewhere along the way, the intimacy began to blur. It didn't vanish all at once. It faded like morning fog, slowly, gently, until only fragments were left. Fans tried to brush it off at first. Schedules got busy. They had solo ambitions. Military duties were looming.
Natural changes, they said.
But beneath the surface, something felt off. 2022 was the last year fans could remember consistent Taekook interactions that felt real. And then 2023 came, with all its drama, rumors, and a particular video from a French journalist that hinted V had been seen with a certain someone in Paris. The internet exploded. No confirmation came. No denial either. Taehyung went quiet. Jungkook stayed even quieter. And ARMY did what they always do. Search for clues in the silence. When Taehyung returned to Paris in 2025 after his military discharge. Radiant, confident, reborn. It felt symbolic. A man entering a new chapter. But chapters don't write themselves without editing the old ones. The fact that his public resurgence happened in Paris, the same city that once fueled the 2023 dating rumors, didn't go unnoticed. Nor did his choice to reappear through fashion, not music. What was V trying to say? The man who once said music was his way of telling truths I can't say out loud was now communicating through silk blazers, luxury cars, and curated magazine spreads. And as the cameras followed him through the streets of Paris, as he raised his glass with Celine's elite, one could only wonder if he ever looked back, not at the fans, but at someone else. Someone watching from across the globe. Did Jungkook see the same V he once shared ramen with in a cluttered dorm room, or did he see a stranger? That's the heartbreak in this story. Not betrayal, not anger, but a kind of soft, aching distance. The kind that grows not from a fight, but from change, from growing up, from walking down different paths, even when your shadows used to walk side by side. Jungkook has always been emotional, but private. When he hurts, he withdraws. When he loves, he expresses it through music. He doesn't post long captions. He doesn't address rumors. He lets his silence be his statement. So when he unfollowed that Celine fan account, people who knew him understood. It wasn't just a swipe. It was a message, a carefully controlled outcry, a no hidden inside a gesture. And for those who dared to read deeper, it felt like mourning, because what if Jungkook wasn't unfollowing the brand, but what it represented now? A version of Taehyung that he no longer recognized, a chapter he wasn't invited into. Part 3. The unsaid between the lines. What lyrics may reveal, the beauty and the curse of BTS has always been that their truths live in their lyrics. And those who've been listening closely have started pointing fingers at songs from both Jungkook and Taehyung that seem, in hindsight, far more personal than promotional. When Jungkook released Still With You, many interpreted it as a love letter to the fans. But some couldn't help but notice how intimately the song described a person once close, now out of reach. I want to see you. Our memories are still warm, he sang, his voice cracking at the edges. It was never confirmed who the song was truly for, but the rawness of it, that didn't feel like fan service. That felt like a confession. Then came Taehyung's Blue and Gray and Rainy Days. Soft, melancholic, whisper-like. Each lyric spoke of longing, of time slipping, of things unsaid. I just want to be happier, he breathed. I feel like I've lost everything, he wrote. Were these just metaphors? Or subtle echoes of relationships that grew distant with fame, expectation, and silence? Even now, fans are analyzing the unreleased demo that Jungkook posted briefly on SoundCloud a few weeks before Taehyung's Paris appearance. A somber acoustic line, no vocals, no title, just pain and chords. It vanished hours after upload. But those who heard it swear it wasn't just music. It was grief, a silent kind, a Jungkook kind. Part 4. The industry's role. Did fame get in the way of friendship? It's a question fans hate asking. How much of BTS is real? And how much is survival? Because when you're in the biggest band on earth, when every friendship becomes a brand, every interaction a headline, how do you keep your relationships pure? Did Taehyung choose fashion because it was his true calling? Or was it a way to escape? A way to carve out identity beyond BTS, beyond Jungkook, beyond fandoms who constantly tried to define him through someone else. And did Jungkook see that as abandonment or as betrayal? The truth is, this unfollow didn't cause the chaos, it revealed it. Like pulling back a curtain on a stage that had long been empty. And while Paris continues to celebrate V's elegance and independence, while cameras flash and fan chants echo through luxury venues, somewhere in Seoul, perhaps behind a studio wall, a man with tired eyes is staring at a phone screen. Not to scroll, not to comment, but maybe to remember. Or maybe to finally let go.